Vet. We welcome into the sub on TV, SuperTalk TV. It's supertalk.fm/watch. The one and only Public Service Commissioner, Northern District, Brandon Presley. Good morning, sir. How are you? Looking good.
Good morning, Paul. I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing fine. It is a pleasure having you. I know a lot of things going on in the Public Service Commissioner's arena too, but you guys still having the meetings? Are you having them all as far as on Zoom or something?
Yeah, so we've done we're doing our meetings on Zoom. We actually have one this morning at 10 o'clock, and so we've been doing them on Zoom and hobbling along as best we can to obey the health guidelines and keep the agency going. But we've been able to continue to meet and actually have done some creative things to hold hearings and stuff like that to make sure we're complying with the law, but we're getting our work done.
Does all of that, Brandon, meet the guidelines as far as quorum, official quorums, and all that? As far as the legals, the stuff legal?
Yeah. So the first thing I did, I'm always nervous about the open meetings law and to make sure that we're complying with that, because it can be, sometimes it can trip you up to make sure you're doing the right thing. So I called Tom Hood at the Ethics Commission and just said, Tom, look, I don't want to be involved in a fine if we're making phone calls into these meetings. How do we do that to make sure we comply with the law? And so what we've done is our notice that goes out that's actually posted on our website puts out a public phone number that you can call in yourself and listen to the meeting today. And it has to be the commission conference room where we meet and vote normally is open to the public with a limited amount of people, but the phone will be there and everyone can hear that conversation. And then, Paul, we do something which many other state agencies don't do. We post our meetings on YouTube, so you can actually go to YouTube if you're bored and don't have anything else to do, and you run out of Tiger King, you can go watch the Public Service Commission.
Man, if you're chosen over a Tiger King, you got a pretty good meeting going on there.
I'm chosen over Tiger King. Let me tell you this: if I'm chosen over Tiger King, I'm getting out of politics.
Have you watched any of that, by the way?
I plead the fifth.
You plead the fifth? Yes,
I have.
Which means that he's watched it. We haven't seen it, but I understand
I admit it.
I don't want to turn this into a review of Tiger King, but is he guilty or not because he's asking for a pardon?
Oh, he's guilty. He's guilty.
So there you go, from Brandon Presley. All right, let me turn our attention to this. You got it. Where do we stand as far as the Public Service Commissioner on some of these cutoff mandatory dates as far as the utilities are concerned? What's the update on that one, Brandon?
Thank you for bringing that up, Paul, because later today you're going to see us announce a statewide notice that we're set to vote on this today. And the last draft that I saw before our meeting at 10 this morning would have our shutoff prohibition end on May the 26th, which is the day after the holiday, at 5 o'clock. The end of that business day, that order will be lifted. And so we are giving a 14-day notice period out there to customers to say, if you have not been able to pay your bill, please get in, work out a payment arrangement, work with the utilities on that. We wanted to, try to be as balanced in this as possible, and we feel like a 60-day shut-off prohibition, which we put into place, one of the first in the country to do that. It is time for that to expire because we're getting so far into billing cycles, and it is causing a lot of our utility stress. I mean, I've been told that one of our rural water associations had to do operations, and so we want to balance that as best we can, and so that order is set to expire on the 26th at 5 o'clock.
26th at 5 o'clock. Then after that, prior to that, go ahead.
No, if we voted in today, that's the proposal.
If it's voted in today. I'm sure there will be a press release on that later.
Yeah, sure.
What else is going on as far as, one of the things here that we've just got to, since the last time we've had you on, we've just thrown everything out as far as workforce development. It's a whole new ball game out there. Who knew that several months ago we'd be sitting here talking about this, that can we get people to go back to work now? So those who have jobs, and you heard the governor a little bit earlier talking about some folks who may decide not to go back to work. The employers may not have enough manpower, and they're going to be hurt financially and maybe not be able to survive. It's a whole new ballgame out there.
It is. It's a whole new ballgame, and I think that we're all struggling with how do you develop to this new world, and what are things that every state agency can do. You know, I think that I'm a team player. I believe that as a state we have to come together, and all of us play a role in that to a certain degree. And as for our little red wagon at the Public Service Commission, we're going to pull it right to try to help the people of Mississippi and to make sure that we're doing our parts. You know, this is a time like obviously no other, and businesses are challenged, people are challenged. You know, we're going to, as we lift this shutoff order, this prohibition on shutoffs, you know, we're going to make sure that certain things can happen. Number one, if you've got a cash deposit that is on file with your utility that maybe you've forgotten about, but you've gotten a big bill built up. Well, if you and the utility agree to access that cash deposit and use that now, well, then, you know, that's just something obviously that could be done, and then the deposit recouped. Just some way to try to help people and to try to help businesses get back on their feet. Neither are enemies of each other, and I think that's something that we've got to keep in mind here. You know, it's not we're just trying to get through this together best we can.
It's a very good idea. Has that been done before? As far
No,
as using some of
that's something that we talked. No, that's not been done before. But you know, because of this, and it occurred to me. Look, I've got a deposit up at my electric company that I forgot I had. Well, if I was sitting there on a bill now, you know, $400 or $500, take that money and put toward my bill, and then prorate that deposit, $10 a pop for 6 months or whatever, to build it back up. But we can get some liquidity there, and we can help the consumer there, you know, be able to buy it off a little bit at a time.
Is that something that had to be voted on? Is it a suggestion to the utility companies, or is it something that the PSC has to put through as far as legally?
It was something that I had worked with the staff, and I think we've got an agreement on to get in the order that'll come out today. So that should be in the order today.
All right. Where to, and I know you guys have been working on this feverishly as far as the broadband situation and some of the money and the CARES Act and all of that. Again, speaking of a whole new ballgame, that's a whole new ballgame. Number one, we've realized that having broadband in the rural areas is not just a nicety now. It's more important than ever before. Certainly for those people who were forced to work from home and could not because they didn't have the necessary equipment.
Yeah, Paul, you and I kind of got lonely talking about this a couple of years ago, but this has been nothing has shown in more stark terms and more up close and personal that the digital divide is real in Mississippi. The classrooms today are at home. Let's face it, the classrooms are at home, and they're probably going to be there for an extended period of time as we come through this and throughout the summer, obviously. The question is going to be, do we fix this now and be done with it? We have a chance to do that. We have a moment in time to fix this, and through either CARES Act, but also through other federal funding that was already there. The Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, which is $20.4 billion nationwide, was sitting at the FCC before we ever heard of Wuhan or COVID-19. And so now I have been advocating, and the commission wrote a letter to Senator Wicker, that we accelerate that. That money is set to come out in late October, and it will push this development through into next year. So, you know, one of the ideas is get that money out quicker so that we can build this broadband network that we need. We've got people sitting in parking lots at libraries throughout the state, McDonald's. You know, we have got a problem, and we have got to fix it, because we will never go back to a world, Paul. We will never go back to a world in which people will be less connected. They're going to be more connected, and we've got to do something about it.
I want to ask you this, if you could hold on, because we got, how many EPAs do we have, Electric Power Association, do we have in the state? 25
in the state.
25. And I'll ask you when we come back what the update is as far as some of those, because we've got more and more, certainly before COVID hit, that we're moving toward at least considering it, and some who are in full mode to get it done. Back with Brandon Presley right after, and our eminent guest here is the one and only Brandon Presley. Man, even on video, seems to be shrinking in size here. So you've done a good job on the weight.
I don't know, man. You just seeing me from here up. I've put on some pounds. I got to get off.
Well, how much? Stand up. No, I wouldn't want to do that. So So, well, in other words, the quarantine is getting you on this?
Oh yeah, man. I'm afraid if I
Well,
don't, I've started getting out walking a little bit more, but I'm not even doing good with that. I'm gonna be honest with you.
it
I'm
has it
somebody.
has
I like
changed
to get
people.
out and work, and it's about to get me. Yeah.
Well, but how much longer are you guys going to do this? Well, other people are returning to
As
work.
I think that my plans in our office is to begin kind of walking phase in
Mm-hmm.
as we're looking at, we're going to do probably like every other state agency and kind of look and see what our sister agencies are doing. I talked with Auditor Shad White the other day about another issue, and we were talking about how can we phase things in or take people coming in different groups, and so we're going to look at that. Fortunately, our offices are pretty spread out in the Woolfolk building, but you're
Yeah.
in the Woolfolk building, so you're in a building, full of one of the biggest state office buildings. So we're gonna do it cautiously and get back moving and obey the rules.
Brandon, is anything in the 2020 session that's been kind of herky jerky, as you well know, but anything in that session that you guys are centering on as far as the 3 public service commissioners?
Yeah, well, we've had a couple of bills that really are non-controversial, technical type amendments, things like that, but nothing to the degree of what we've seen, in the what we saw in the Broadband Act back in 2019. But we'll see how that develops as now there are other things on the table and broadband and things of that nature, extension of services.
Look, we talked about this before we left on the commercial break here, but we were saying that there are 23, 24 EPA members as far as the EPA Association across the state of Mississippi. And how many of these, give me an update, how many of these have decided to actually begin construction or begin the process of getting into the broadband business?
Okay, so you've got 25 statewide
25.
Of our distribution co-ops that are owned by members, 25 of them. You've got 9 right now that are already engaged at some phase in providing a broadband service. We've got some folks who are already hooking customers up. You've got some people who are getting ready to, some who are taking contracts. We have 3 that are in the study phase right now. So you've got 9 that are engaged, that have taken the vote, that are moving forward, that have a business plan that is rock solid, and they're moving forward. You've got 3, Pontotoc Electric, Natchez Trace Electric, and 4 County Electric that are still in the phasing, the study phase of this process. And so, we're looking to be to 12. Paul, what makes that? 2 things that I want to point out there. First and foremost, and I've talked with an expert in the field of rural broadband yesterday, Mississippi right now has the largest geographic expansion of high-speed fiber optic internet service because of our movement with our co-ops of any state in America. In our state, it is moving forward. Number 2 is that, for instance, Alcorn County Electric Power Association, which was the first rural electric co-op formed in America, actually has become the first in America to offer a multi-gigabit service to residential customers. So we're leading in ways that no one could have ever dreamed.
How about that?
And it's happening fast. I think that the moment has met the movement, and I think that you're going to see that increase. And hopefully, I think you've got a lot of recognition in the legislature of how important this is. I'm really proud of where the legislature's come down on this.
Absolutely. Has there been some glaring reports of any problems that they've encountered that they didn't think about as far as the people who are underway with this effort? In other words,
not that I've been. I think just normal delays that might have come in because of COVID and getting supplies and things of that nature. But our rural electric co-ops got power to rural America in a faster way than anybody ever could have dreamed in the 1930s. These are Mississippi-owned companies. They're companies that are owned by their very members, and so they're driven like you would not believe. And every dollar spent with our co-op stays in the state of Mississippi. So this is one of those good mom and apple pie type of scenarios.
But you guys don't have checks and balances on it as far as the purview of what you can regulate and not regulate as far as the broadband is concerned, as far as the public service.
Well, we actually, under federal law and is recognized in state law, we will be one of the entities that will be doing a part of the administration of the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund, in the sense of we have to designate all of those companies that receive any federal funds as eligible telecommunications carriers is what it means, but actually that we certify that they do the work, and our role in that is to make sure that that federal program is carried out.
Got it.
And so we do that as a part of our federal role, and then obviously a part of that is to look at the most efficient way to spend those dollars and to promote access as we go about it. So we play a role through that, but also through what you see today and the expansion within the electric companies themselves because of their need for fiber.
These are all internet, no cable TV on this one. Is it all internet service?
Some of them are going to offer cable television. Most of them are already going to offer a landline phone for like $20 a month or something in that nature. But one thing I would point out, Paul, is that because of the nature of the systems that our co-ops are putting in, these are fiber to the home systems, to the last home at the last dirt road. These systems start off with a speed of 100 megabits per second, which is 10 times faster than what in many areas of the states that you can find. And that's 100 up and 100 down for around $54 a month. And so streaming, Hulu, Netflix, and the like, or streaming SuperTalk TV would be pretty easy on a fiber optic connection. And so a lot of people, as you see this throughout America now, a lot of people obviously are cord cutters, and they're moving on to getting their content online.
Well, it's good news, and I guess we're going to have more and more, but that are going to do this. But the money we're talking about, when do you, just to be optimistic about it, when do you think is going to hit the bank accounts, or I shouldn't say the bank accounts, some of the entities there that want to put that money to use as far as expanding this?
Yeah. So the 20.4. Yeah, so the $20.4 billion that's sitting at the FCC today, that's been there, we estimate, and best estimates show that Mississippi could benefit $940 million for broadband access out of that fund, of the Rural Digital Opportunity Fund. Estimates show $940 million. We're talking about almost $1 billion. The question, Paul, is whether we wait until October and allow this reverse auction, which is the way that they disperse the money, and then the Public Service Commission has to certify those people who are going to get the money. So the feds have to run the reverse auction. The state public service commissions have to do essentially a background check and hold consumer protection standards for getting the public money. I wrote a letter last week to President Trump and to Senator Wicker. Senator Wicker is chairman of the Commerce Committee with oversight of the FCC, saying, please speed that up. There's no reason to wait. Now, I'm catching hell from the National Democratic Party, and by some because they want to wait in case Vice President Biden is elected, and on the Republican establishment want to wait because it's prior to November. Both are wrong. These dollars need to be put out early, and Mississippians we need construction jobs, we need fiber being hung, we need people connected to the internet, and there's no reason in the world to wait until October except for one thing: petty politics on both sides, and it's wrong.
You're catching hell from the Mississippi Democrat Party or the National Democrat Party?
No. The position by some in the National Democratic Party has been that it should wait, and the reason it should wait is different arguments, but much of that is related to election. And let's be honest, and on the Republican side, it's the same thing because some of the ideas was wait till October.
I know that, but to understand that they're the only Democrat standing in the state of Mississippi is catching hell from the Democrats. You've got to be careful.
Oh, man, I told somebody that I won't say what I told somebody about chewing my rear end out one time, but that, I get it all the time from people on both sides. But the right thing here to do is, and I will say this, there's a bipartisan bill, I believe it's going to be dropped in Congress today by Democrat Jim Clyburn of South Carolina with a Republican co-sponsor to do exactly what we're talking about. So thank God there's some bipartisanship on this issue. So you've got Republicans and Democrats at least on one of these things coming together. But this makes sense. I would love for Senator Wicker to please put the pressure on the FCC to get this money out, or file a bill to make them do it.
Well, if anybody's sitting in the office to do that, it would be the chairman of the Commerce Committee. So Roger Wicker,
the most powerful man over this in America. He's got the most power in America.
I've enjoyed it, sir. Thank you so very much. I appreciate it. Now you can go out for your Fitbit walk.
I will. Yeah. Thanks. Have a good day, Paul.
Thank you, Brent.